Hello, ladies and gentlemen, the remote viewers. Hello as well to the guests here in the auditorium. Good to have you here. Thank you for coming. The topic of this breakout session is interdisciplinary cooperations. And I would say more than in any other industry, success is depending on three areas, or probably rather four, that are hardware, software, materials, and in my opinion also services, but we will discuss that later. Whether it's simulation to optimize the printing result, the right powder for laser sintering, or the quality of the machine used, each sub-area is constantly challenged to develop further, right? But what about the cooperations between the three or four areas? How strongly do they work together, and how quickly do the areas involved develop themselves? So, or is even one of them a roadblocker for the whole development or growth in additive manufacturing? Those are the topics we want to discuss in this panel discussion. And with me here on stage is a fantastic round of experts. And I would love to introduce them and start with the most complicated name first. Sorry, Vino. So, to my left is Vino Suntharakumaran. I hope at least, okay. Yeah, I'll come closer. So you are Managing Director of DMG Mori Additive. Welcome on stage. So then we have Paolo Gennaro. Is it Gennaro?
Perfect.
Pleasure. So you are Head of Additive Technology at Georg Fischer. Then we have Andreas Hartmann, who is CEO and CTO at the same time of Solukon. Then we have Simon Merkt-Schippers from SLM Solution, Vice President Product Management and member of the executive team. And last but not least, our co-host. Welcome, Sven. Sven Hicken, who is the Vice President, the Head of Additive Technologies, Chief Technology Officer, sorry, Oerlikon, ich hab euch durcheinander, Chief Officer Oerlikon Surface Solution at Oerlikon. Sven, welcome to have you here.
Thanks to the guests and to the guests here.
Sven, we will start with you because you were the last joining. So why would you say is it important to keep an eye of the development of all three areas if we're taking software, hardware, and materials?
Yeah,
is it important?
Well, it's definitely important, and I guess within the conference we again learned that to come to a successful application, yeah, it really needs all these disciplines working very, very close together to be time to market, full functionality, and also achieve the costs which are required.
Very good answer. Vino, I mean, you heard what Sven said, and we put the question whether one of them is a roadblocker. How do you see the current speed of industrialization of hardware, software, and material? How do they differ?
Yeah, I mean, they progress in different kinds of speeds, that's for sure. I mean, for software technology, we have numerous startups, big players, small players, a lot of topics in the field. They can iterate quite fast, improve very fast, align closely. In terms of hardware, of course, we need extensive testing. It takes time. In terms of materials, quite difficult to qualify. Everybody here knows what is needed. We currently, for example, we qualify a cobalt-free tool steel. So it's in the fields of sustainability, new materials are coming up, and here we take currently very, very much time. So I would not say roadblocker, but different fields require a different amount of resources, of course. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So Andreas, you might give this meeting a sense or not. So your question is, how do you see the current level of collaboration between the disciplines in this industry? Is there already enough collaboration?
From our point of view, I would say it's definitely on the rise. So our technology of automated powder removal was quite unknown in the beginning, and the demand from the operators in the field. And now it is known, like our customers say, a door opener for successful post-processing and manufacturing, especially when it comes to complex parts like heat exchangers or rocket engines. And the OEMs realized the value of this technology, and we are very happy to say that we have partnerships and collaborations with DMG Mori here, and also SLM Solutions, EOS, AMCM, and it's becoming more. When it comes to the digital thread, I would say a close collaboration is even more important, as we see that our customers want more process data and more connectivity to have even more automation and, for example, also quality assurance and all that. So it's definitely very important that we give the customers a comprehensive view of what is possible and what data can you collect and put together to a good environment of production.
Thank you, Andreas. So, Paolo, Andreas drive the topic that we discussed up front. From your point of view, which disciplines need to work better together in order to accelerate the growth of AM we are heading for?
Exactly. I believe that everybody that wants to grow this business must think how to reduce the cost in production. Everybody here decided and talking about new application, that's the way. But we have to improve the number of application or get more advantage for the current application, reducing the cost. And I strongly believe that the way to reduce the cost is to have the best integration within the subtracted and additive, and putting together also the inspections. Because most of the people now think that I have to print the best way this part. Then somebody else has to think about the best way to machine the part. And both, they have to check the company produced, ensuring the quality. If we are able to have a supply chain that is integrated, subtracted with additive, and on top of that, a common way to make the inspection, probably we can, I'm sure we will reduce a lot the cost. I have in mind 20-30%. And we are at the beginning. The imperfect integration of the existing technology can be a strong drive for cost reduction, and then can improve the number of applications. And I believe we need that.
Very important impulse. We will definitely come back to the cost reduction topic later. Simon, talking about collaborations, and we already assessed it a little bit. Do we have such collaborations? And could you give us already an example of success to start positively, finally?
Of course, yeah, we do have these kind of collaborations for sure. I believe we do not have enough of these collaborations, to be honest. I think the last years were really, for us, the main goal was to really have robust machines, reliable quality, and repeatability, and so on. So I think every machine manufacturer had to do a lot of exercises here to really come to a robust machine tool. And I think the next stage is now really to cover the whole value chain. I think on the software side, I think there's still a way to go. I think there are very well standardized interfaces, OPC UA, API interfaces that we know from conventional technologies that we should just use and make data accessible to pre and post processes. I think this is something we have to accelerate, because data is getting key and everything is getting digital. And there we have some success working with Siemens together here, working with other companies together. So, but I think the successes could be much bigger if we accelerate here. So, yeah, one collaboration that works quite well is in terms of fine depowdering. I think here we are well cooperating to really get any residual powder out of the parts. Yeah, every gram, every kilogram can really also is important for the business case. And there I'm very happy to collaborate with Solukon to take out any last piece of powder that is relevant for our customer business cases. So, yeah, one of the few success stories, and I think there should be definitely more in the future.
Great. So this was the first round for the viewers remotely. You can ask questions whenever you want. Here's a second iPad where we'll see the question answered directly to the audience. You as well here are invited to ask a question whenever you feel like you want to ask one, so feel free. I have another question. So Andreas explained very briefly that the customer is expecting like a whole process or a completed value chain. I mean, when you said software is already far ahead, it's much easier for them in terms of long, sustainable quality to achieve that. How do you see the customer perception regarding additive manufacturing? So, because there are not that many of that collaborations over the whole value chain. So are the customers really demanding that, and how are they satisfied with the current status, would you say?
Depends. So in terms of additive technology, we have a very young technology, so there we have a lot of enablement to do with the customer. This we heard throughout the talks yesterday already. The customer, our typical customer comes from the CNC world, so they know our milling and turning solutions. They know already the process change which are in place, and that is the glass through which they look at our technology, and this is what they expect. So, and honestly, today we are not at the same level like in CNC. This is fact. We have solutions in place, a zero-point clamping system to use our SLM technology and our CNC technology together to have this kind of process chain. Definitely, what we are currently still working on is having this digital thread, which we already mentioned. So build processors, start additive thinking, think function-based, not manufacturing-based, have this thought implemented to the customer. So there's a lot of training involved, then utilizing the software packages, which we currently have. And we are currently still improving the connection between these block stones, build stones, how you want to call them.
So if I understand you correctly, like the customers in your case, they fully understand why there is not more progress due to stability of process and stability of the product. So Sven, regarding new applications, coming up new things, I mean, Oerlikon is investing heavily in achieving new applications. Would you then go directly to find partners to have a collaboration in place to address new applications, or do you find an application and then start looking for the surrounding solutions?
Well, thanks for that question. In 2019, we started to identify certain key focus applications for us, and this is not a single application, it's a family of applications. And by working on those families, over time, we learned with the customers what is needed, what is expected. So today we are in a position, we have a clear understanding which kind of collaboration we are looking for. Fortunately, we can cover powder, printing, some post-processing by ourselves, which is maybe also good for differentiate to other competitors. But to answer your question, no, we have a clear understanding which kind of collaborations we are looking for when we address the customers.
Very good. Simon, Andreas, you both mentioned the cooperation, so there we have post-processing and the production. Are you looking then for further partners in the software area to support or to stabilize your process or to make it more attractive for end customers? Simon?
Yeah, of course, we also look for pre-processing software. So there's another success story that I can mention is we had a very challenging customer project for an SLM 500 in Italy. And distortion was a major problem of very thin-walled parts. So there we had a strong cooperation with Simofakt. They simulated the part, they did the pre-compensation of the part. And in the end, I was really fascinated after a few iterations when the part came out of the machine with almost no distortion. So I think this was another success story. The customer was completely convinced because we really took into account the design and everything. And I think this is another success story. So for sure, we are also looking not only in the direction of post-processing here.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Andreas, one important topic we haven't addressed now, and this is sales. And I'm coming from sales, so I'm pretty much interested in sales, to be honest. Who has in such, or are there collaborations where sales is a key factor, and who then has the lead in sales, or who gets the lead in sales? Are there collaborations that are made especially to have a bigger success at a client, or?
At the moment, we are quite lucky because we see a big demand from the market, and they come towards us. They come with a technical issue that they have. They have a complicated, like I said in the beginning, or large rocket engine or heat exchanger, and they say, how can we do that? And it goes over our laboratory that we do trials for them and so on, and develop the solution for them. So it's more starting at the technical demand from the market, and normally we are very happy if we can sell our standard machines, but a lot of new applications must be directly trained by our experts to find the best solution.
Very good. Paolo, which discipline needs collaboration most?
Design for manufacturing. Because if you have a good design for manufacturing, it's difficult because at the end of the day, you have to put together the engineer that know how the part will work and the engineer that know how to build up the part. But all these things must work together. Otherwise, the cost of the part will go on the moon, or you create a problem for somebody else. I would like to give an example. You know, for instance, I am the end user. You are printing, you are machining. So if I try to have a best design, maybe you will try to do something that you print it quickly, but you will generate a problem for this gentleman that have that to machine. If we have on the top a good engineering team that understand that the best compromise for you to build and for this gentleman to machine is the right way to do that, at the end of the day, it will be a win-win. So the part will be cheaper, you will be happy, and we'll scrap less part, and we'll grow globally the market. So it means that GF will sell more machines, more milling, more additive, and the customer will sell more parts at a cheaper cost with a higher margin. So everybody will be happy.
That was the solution. We can finish now. No. Very good. Thank you for the answer. Sven, we just heard which discipline needs the cooperation most. Which discipline is driving the collaboration most? Is it the software side because they are so far ahead, or who is the driver of working more together?
I would say, out of our experience, it's a customer. Yeah,
Okay.
it's the application. The application pulls together the needed disciplines, and this is something different from application to application. But I mean, we are all aiming to be successful, and successful means to have finally a component which meets the requirements, technical cost requirements. So it's a customer driving this a lot.
Very good, very good. We have the first questions from the audience, so let's step in that, because then you don't need my questions anymore. Vino, where is the biggest potential to decrease part per cost in terms of collaboration? Design, software, post-process, where is it? What is the expectation of user to the machine seller in terms of collaboration? Sorry, two questions in one.
I'll try.
Yeah.
So the biggest potential, I think Paolo already addressed this topic quite good. So yes, design for sure is one part, but through design we could get also into detail, right? So we have as less structures, support structures as possible. We should have the whole process chain in mind, so the CNC machining or the post-processing. So yes, design is one big factor. The second topic would be the materials. So if we have additive materials who are more easy to print, we could accelerate the printing time. We have less machine hours, then we drive down the cost as well. And then the third topic would be software. So I'm incorporating here all the fields. If we have an automated solution for this additive design, we would drive down the cost as well because we need less personnel. So I think we need working together of all disciplines which I mentioned here. That's why we are here during this 2-3 days. So yes.
Discussion, by the way. Yeah, absolutely.
And the second point, please, could you repeat that?
What is the expectation of user to the machine seller in terms of collaboration?
Yes. So the user expects from us at least a holistic solution.
Mm-hmm.
So he has an application and he wants a solution to that. And if he thinks it's additive manufacturing, he also expects from us that we cover the processing and the designing. By training, we have an additive intelligence group, which is exactly dealing with this topic of design thinking for additive. So yes, they expect us to cover the entire process chain.
Very good, very good. Thank you for the answer. So there's one, I tried to change the question a little bit, and I hope I put it in the right direction. Is there, Simon, probably for you, is there an application, let's think more an application, that desires a collaboration most? So let's turn it around and think more from the application side, where we probably can't prevent the collaboration in order to make the application successful. You can, or any of the others can think of one.
Yeah.
It's quite a difficult question.
I think first of all, really collaboration is key in really shaping the business case and getting everything out of our technology. I think this is key, and I would say it depends on the segment where it's more important or less important. So I believe in automotive, I think collaboration is key because the cost pressure here is higher than compared to space. So the advantages of AM are not as obvious as for aerospace industry, for example. So I think here really collaborating and setting up the business case together is key. Yeah? Bringing in a powder supplier to define the right powder specs. Often we use powder which is actually too good for the certain application that we want to print. Defining parameters that really hit the targets of the application. Yeah, sometimes it's okay to only have like 99.5% density if it depends really on the part and application. I think in automotive, everything needs to perfectly match and play together to really come to a economical, feasible application. So I would say the i8 bracket, for example, that is produced in series is a perfect example where so many thoughts are put together from the design to the powder to the right machine, the right parameters, the post-processing, the automation. So this is a perfect example where everything played well together.
Very good. I mean, even if I read the question, it's always a question for whole supply chain, whole value chains here. Sven, do you have like an example? We were talking a lot of success stories, and most of the time we hear like one or two partners. Are there any, I imagine we are here at such an event where you connect and network together, and we heard startups like Nebumind, for example, that are talking about digital twin, or like Johannes said, digital shadow. Are there any roundtables created from your side to bring partners on stage to probably create a new application, or is that something being done proactively?
It's a good point. Honestly, today, I would say we have several platforms for exchange, but are they well harmonized, or are they well connected to each other? Here I see a potential. I mean, the machine manufacturers are offering a lot of exchange between them and their customers. We are actually discussing bringing up maybe a cluster idea up to the table again. It's not that organized today as it maybe could be to get the full leverage out of such a exchange. So there's room for improvement.
Yeah, I mean, this is my impression too, especially when we are talking the 2 days about momentum for growth. And I can imagine taking a really good, even a service provider, a good service provider together with post-processing, a machine producer, plus a really established software partner that has its assets not only in quality control, but also in coordinating the supply chain, whatever. That would be like really a sales driving experience, wouldn't it be? So why does that not happen then, Paolo?
I believe we are forgetting the quality. Because at the beginning of the story, I remember that you can present something very nice, because Additive start for biomedical and aerospace. In the beginning, you arrive with this nice prototype, and everybody have a look at this. Okay, how can I check? Having in mind the net structure, net structure for biomedical, for other aerospace application, how you can check a net structure and to be sure that by the dimensional point of view, you are in compliance with drawings, or that the part will not fail because somewhere the small net is not working. And this at the beginning was killing the application.
Okay.
And then we have also to remember that additive manufacturing is a spatial process by definition. At the beginning, it was difficult to validate the spatial process, because people were asking, okay, guys, we have this part for the engine, but to validate this, we have to have plenty of cut-ups. So the cost goes on the moon, there's not any more competitive. So I believe that the big step ahead that was done in the past, but was not yet finished, is the quality inspection, and give the confidence to the major customers that are or biomedical or people that make turbo machinery till have. Because if the engineering will be confident that the part will not break in operations, the number of the application will grow up without killing the cost. Because for me now, a lot of people in the engineering are like a baby that is afraid of the dark. But the dark never killed any baby, just because they don't know. And so they put a lot of inspection on the part. All this inspection, coming back to my discussion before, you are printing, you are machining, you are making CMM on the semi-finished part, you are making X-ray, FPI, maybe a CT scan. So the cost of inspection in most of the cases is more than the cost of the part.
True.
Then he has to buy, this gentleman has to buy from you the semi-finished part and have to machine the part. So at the end, he's selling to me the final customer responsible for everything. So I will ask him to check your part that you have already checked. And again, we'll make a CT scan, FPI, X-ray. At the end of the day, the OEM is paying for everything. But at the end of the day, he's paying for everything because he's over asking in terms of quality. And again, we'll come to you, we'll qualify your machine because it's a special process, they'll be qualified by OEM. So all these stories are generated cost just because people of engineering are not confident the technology is mature enough. For this reason, I would like to put into this big envelope also the quality, because it's driving in most of the cases the cost in the current applications that again are orthopedics and turbo machinery.
But there are many software solutions offering quality controls even upfront, Andreas. So
Yeah, but I think there's a problem now. It's all about data collecting and quality assurance.
yeah.
And for sure, the OEMs have perfect tools to guarantee the quality, but we have all these post-processing steps. And we need more software, and that's why we are also collaborating with Siemens and with Authentize to collect more data to have a comprehensive quality report at the end. And also about sustainability, that we can say what were the steps and how much manual work was during that operation, how much power consumption, how much gas consumption, so that on the one hand, everybody knows the quality of the part at the end is always the same. That's the aim of all of us, but we have a lot to do in post-processing. And also the sustainability, because there's a lot of work behind that has a lot of consumption of media, like power, compressed air, gas, and so on. And then at the end, if we have all that data, we are able to make the processes even leaner. And I think this is the task or the approach for the future for software, in my opinion.
Then get back to the cost reduction again.
Of course.
Simon, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I want to come back to your question actually. What are we doing wrong that this collaboration is not taking place in the intensity that our industry needs it? And I believe we are really doing something wrong, talking about ourselves too much, right? Like we SLM, we talk about machines, about productivity, about the build chamber size, about features and so on. And I think in many cases, even us, we definitely have to improve our sales approach, right? Talking more about applications, about what are the targets for these applications, what's the purpose of this application, yeah? And then we definitely have to talk more about other players which could improve the business case, yeah? So at least, yeah, I try to talk about Solukon's solutions, about also other machine manufacturers' solutions if they better fit the application, yeah? So I think here we should stop talking just about ourselves and about the features that we have, and we should also stop doing this, high-end marketing in some cases, yeah? I think the hype is over. We got enough awareness in the industry by the hype, so marketing is nice, but it cannot be a core pillar for a growing industry. So I think if we would do this, yeah, if we speak with each other, bring everyone on one table, if we talk about the application, then we will definitely see more cases for serial production.
That's a strong thesis, and I'm very glad you brought it up, to be honest. Sven, what is your perspective on the current situation Simon was describing? I mean, from my point of view, same story. I'm absolutely with Simon, so we are always thinking in our own terms, our own solutions. You mentioned you are covering different parts of the value chain. Would you agree on that? Is there, let's say, too much self-awareness instead of having the big picture? Because in the end, you need to find a customer that is paying for a solution.
When I refer to the discussion from last night in the startup event, I guess it was mentioned by Arno from AM Ventures that he's very happy to see now half of the startups focusing on applications. And I guess this is a clear signal. I'm with Simon. They also experienced a phase where each and every discipline was saying, I have a laser more, great. I have a faster computational power, great. I have whatever. Yeah, it's nice to have all these ingredients, but to orchestrate and customize those to the application and focus on that. And again, we appreciate a lot the openness we experience over the last several months with the machine builders. We say, look, we have an application. Do you feel your machine could do that? Yes, of course, everyone is excited, say yes. But then I appreciate an honesty and openness, say, maybe our machine is not the best fit. Yeah, and that's great to experience this and focus then on the right machine for the right application.
Very good. So you picked up a sentence that I once heard from Dominic from Sintertech, who said application, application, application. Because in my opinion, this is all about, you need to find somebody in the world that wants to use it, buy it, pay for it. This is the whole secret. I want to give the audience a chance to ask a question, if there's one, because I do not have the chance to look always over the side. Please go ahead. We have a microphone over there, probably wait a sec, then the viewers can hear as well.
Thank you very much. Lars Sommerhauser from EMPA. So we heard about the collaboration between SLM Solutions and Solukon. I think that's a good starting point. But what I really miss is to see complete integrated production lines for 3D printed parts and best practices in this sense as well. I see that the large company can actually do that, but the small and medium-sized companies, they struggle. So they need to build that up either with partners or alone. And so how could we actually extend the collaboration between two to really realize a complete production line for 3D printed parts, including post-processing, including depowdering, including heat treatment, including maybe CNC milling inspection as well, like Paolo mentioned before?
Who wants to take that question? Who's brave enough? No.
Perfect, yeah. You can share the question as well. So I think everyone tries to have this holistic approach, and in the past we started, and we are still learning one by one. So we started this DMG Mori additive intelligence, starting to train the customer because there's this big need for this kind of right design for additive manufacturing. Then we have software trainings, build job preparation, offer this. Then we have this selective laser melting process, the 3D printing. Then we have picking up the zero-point clamping system, going over to our CNC machines, finishing the part, and then is the part where the partners come in. Yeah, post-processing with Solukon, depowdering, heat treatment, and this is getting interesting now because now we come from the application, and that's where the knowledge of the customer comes in as well. So I think we are speaking a lot about delivering solutions. One aspect we did not tackle yet is how we incorporate also the customer closer into this kind of process chain and this approach. So in the end, we are talking about about this kind of collaborative projects also with the customer. So I think this is one big aspect we should also incorporate in the thoughts. And this is also one of the solutions to having this whole kind of process chain implemented.
To be very fast, it's the typical approach that we have with our customer. The customer arrives with an idea, and we make an engineering evaluation. How does it cost to run it to the end? This is something that we are currently doing. Unfortunately, this is taking a lot of effort because it takes days to analyze the additive, the post-processing, the milling, the inspection, and coming with a cost. And this is typically the approach that now we have because it's what the market is asking.
by the way, Vino, Paolo, that's exactly what was asked, how to make it easier for the customer if he is the bottleneck in terms of knowledge to be part of that collaboration. And yeah, this is what brings us to the end of the discussion. We have so many questions left, sorry for that, but this is timing, by the way. Very fruitful discussion. Thank you for your openness, for the honest answers. That's what I really like, because as Simon said, it's not the typical way we do in additive manufacturing. So thank you very much for the very interesting insight. Thank you so much for the questions. We will hand them over anyway, and I mean, we are connected through the platform, so there's an easy way to get in touch and ask the question directly to the guys here on stage. So thank you so much. One thing that I take with me is there's still a lot of things to do, and yeah, I can just engage everybody to do as many collaborations or to push as many collaborations as possible in the future. Thank you for listening. Thanks to the audience. Thank you at home, and yeah, thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.